What's going on, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Noname, back at it with another New York Giants video, a recap and reaction of the Packers versus Giants game. And I know this is out a bit late, but I was very busy today. Got to catch the game a little bit later. And, in general, just didn't have a chance to do a recap until now. And honestly, man, first reaction of this game was, even while watching it, man, it was depressing to look at this game. The way the Giants played on both offense and defense, more so defense than anything. The way they played this game, the way they came out, the way they looked on the field, all that, it was just depressing, man. It looks like, once again, just like the Bears game, looked like everybody was unprepared. It looked like the coaching staff didn't do their job again. It looked like the players were a bit confused. And you look at the stat line, right? You look at the score, even, to be honest. It says 31-13, but really the game was 24-13, which isn't good either way. Either way, it's a terrible game. But the reason I bring that up is because it wasn't a really 31-13 game until like late in the third quarter, I think it was, on a big third down play and a big fourth down play. It was third and long, and then it was like 4th and 10 or something, but it was third and long, and our defense had to go up against the Packers. The Packers converted it. Then on that same drive, it was a 4th and 10, and the Packers went for it on the Giants defense, which tells you all you need to know about this Giants defense. And of course, they converted it. They got a score out of it, but it tells you all you need to know about the Giants defense and the type of players they have out there. Not necessarily to say that they're all bad, because we do have a lot of rookies out there, especially in the secondary. This game, more than any game, I saw a lot of rookie cornerbacks out there. I saw a lot of young cornerbacks out there, first-year guys like Sam Beal and such. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit, because I guess one of the benefits of doing this video a lot later than usual is that an article came out on the New York Post in which Janoris Jenkins calls out James Bettcher, calls out the scheme, and questions his decision-making and stuff. For example, not having Janoris travel across the field. He's saying, and this is direct quotage, Rabbit doesn't travel anymore like top cornerbacks do, which means basically he stays on one side of the field. He's been playing on the left side of the field for most of the year, the entire year. He doesn't follow or shadow the top wide receiver on the other team like most top cornerbacks do. Instead, they have Janoris playing that left side of the field and that left side of the field only, no matter who's there. And he complains, saying, he gets 2 passes a game and he doesn't really get a chance to make an impact, and they're basically not using him. He's just like an old toy on the shelf that a kid forgets about, basically. Which I kind of agree with. He's your best cornerback. By far, he's better than any other cornerback we have on the team. He's our only veteran cornerback. And if you want him to teach these guys how to play, part of the teaching is showing. And James Bettcher, our defense coordinator, is not allowing Janoris to do that. But then on the other side of the coin, and this is a very weak argument, but I'm playing devil's advocate, so to speak. But there is another argument too. The weak one is that when he did travel across the field, shadow other wide receivers on the field, one of the best examples was, or one of the worst examples, was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Janoris had possibly the worst game of his career, led up almost 200 yards and like 3 touchdowns to Mike Evans, and that entire game he was traveling across the field. So maybe that's why the Giants don't trust him to do that again, but that's just one game in the guy's career out of everything else. And since that game, he's definitely played a lot better for the Giants than I'd say since 2016. But I agree with Janoris here. I mean, you guys also know my opinion on this coaching staff. I don't believe this coaching staff is going to do us any good. I think we need a change. Before, I was mostly on the head coaching level, but I think maybe we need to scrap everything on the coaching staff, because this defense looked very terrible out there today. And James Bettcher, I'm getting tired of making excuses for him. I was never one to make excuses for Pat Shurmur. I've always wanted him gone since the second game of the season. And quite frankly, since last year, I've wanted him gone, because he's not head coaching material. He's a great offensive coordinator, but he's a terrible head coach. He doesn't know how to handle both the offense and the defense. He doesn't know how to discipline the players. Funnily enough, mostly the cornerbacks, so they're the ones that we haven't had many, I guess, media outbursts this year as we had in previous years, but the cornerbacks aren't exactly doing the Giants any favors anyway. But in general, you guys know my opinion on Pat Shurmur. This game really made me solidify my opinion that James Bettcher may be the one that also needs to go, and that maybe he's going to be the one to go first because he's DC. You know, they let the defensive coordinator go before they would let the head coach go anytime. I would love to keep Gettleman, though. I believe Gettleman is a great drafter. He's given us Saquon. He's given us Darius Slayton, who once again had another good game. Not a great game, but a good game. I think he had 6 receptions for 44 yards. A wide receiver named Caden Smith, who I admit I've never heard of before, and I did cover training. I covered the entire offseason. For those of you that are new to my channel, go back into my older videos. I covered the entirety of the Giants offense, the Giants offseason. I've never heard of this wide receiver, Caden Smith. So I'm going to have to look into how we got him, but he was our leading receiver today. And obviously Gettleman signed him. Gettleman also got us Daniel Jones. Ryan Connolly, who hopefully when he comes back continues where he left off because he was performing really well for us. He was our top middle linebacker. Gettleman has done a lot of good things for us in the draft. It's just his free agency that's been questionable, and this upcoming offseason, a big part of it, maybe the biggest part of it, is going to be the free agency. We'll have to see how he does there, but I say for sure James Bettcher is gone, man. Just that drive, that one drive in the third or fourth quarter alone does it for me. But you can just look at the score also, 31 points to 13, and they're ranked near dead last in every defensive category that you could think of. And just looking at the score, the stats, this was a game played in the snow. It was very bad weather. So usually bad weather means a very defensive oriented game because the quarterbacks and the offense doesn't really function as well as they're used to, because, you know, whether it's snow, they can't see as well. You know, the turf and the ground is wet, it's soggy, it's slippery, all that. The offense in general is going to have a bad time. It's a very defensive oriented game. And if there was any game that you would expect the defense to, like, I don't know, maybe just have a little bit of a good one, you know, just have a little bit of a pick-me-up, it will be this one. But no, the defense, along with the score, they couldn't even come up with any interceptions. There were 0 interceptions all day and no sacks, 0 sacks all day, even from Marcus Golden, who had an all-right game. And so far, Marcus Golden has been one of our best players on the defense, the best free agency sign so far of Dave Gettleman's tenure here at the Giants. But he couldn't get a sack, and he's our top guy right now in terms of pass rush. The only time I really noticed guys like defensive tackles such as Leonard Williams or Dexter Lawrence were more so in the first half, which is kind of the story of the entire Giants season. You know, it feels like we're watching the same game on repeat. In the first half, the defense and, you know, the team in general is a lot more competitive. They keep it close and then they let it go in the second half. It's almost as though they're tanking on purpose, which once again, you guys already know I am in favor of that, because with this game, we basically locked up getting Chase Young. The Redskins won, the Bengals won their first game, the Dolphins won again. Like, there's no question about it. We're going to get the first or second pick in the draft, which is sad to think about. It's going to be one of the worst games, one of the worst years in Giants history, but we essentially locked up that Chase Young pick in the draft. And while I will maintain the position that is better for the team's future, doesn't mean it's any less sad. I mean, it's sad to watch this team and it's sad to see how badly they perform, but we locked up the draft pick with this, and it's just looking at these games, the way they play it, very competitive in the first half, and then they play like they're a bunch of high schoolers in the second half. They look so confused and lost. It's almost as though they're tanking on purpose. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's going to be a good overhaul, as I said before, of the coaching staff, but also of a lot of players. Like, even though I agree with Jack Rabbit's statements, that might get him out of New York. You know, there's already been rumors since last year that he's going to be one of the guys out of New York. Alec Ogletree, he might be somebody that's out. Antoine Bethea, I think definitely is going to be out. Maybe Grant Haley. You know, maybe they like Julian Love better than Grant Haley. They let him go. Maybe we get rid of we're definitely getting rid of either BJ Hill or Leonard Williams, because only one of those guys, there's only spot on the roster for one of them. We might get rid of Aldrick Rosas, I don't know, or Michael Thomas. And Aldrick Rosas, he did have a good game today. I think he was perfect today, if I'm not wrong. Let me check real quick. Yeah, Aldrick Rosas was perfect today. 2 for 2 on his free field goals, and good on his extra points. So maybe there's a lot of people that will be let go on the defense for sure. On the offense, don't even get me started. We might let go of everybody except for Zeitler and Will Hernandez. Daniel Jones, I'm not going to speak too much on his 3 interception game because he's still a rookie. He's going to have high games like the Buccaneers one, high games like he did have a good Chicago Bears game, you know, high games like that, and then low games like this where he throws 3 interceptions because he's a rookie. And then you add into the fact that it was snowing and sleeting all across the field. You know, like I said, wind conditions aren't the best. Definitely your sight isn't the best when it's snowing all in your face and all that. So combine that with the fact that he's a rookie, and I could really give him a pass for this. So I won't look too much into that 3 interception game, but he showed flashes, and he has his downs like this. That's all I could really say. In general, though, I guess as a final recap for this is the only silver lining, and I'm really looking at it as a silver lining at this point, is the fact that we locked up Chase Young. But even then, it's just sad the way this team is performing. It's really depressing, not gonna lie. It's a bad time to be a Giants fan, man. But we gotta tough it through, because in the future, I mean, you could only go up from here. This might be a worse season than 2017 when we went 3-13. I honestly do not know if we're gonna win another game with the way we're performing. Obviously, I'm gonna have my preview out on the Eagles. It would be great if we could knock them out of the playoffs. They're 5-7, but there's a good chance we might not win another game for the rest of the season. And at that point, I think that would be the worst season in Giants history. There's nowhere to go but up from here. So, tough it through, Giants fans. We got this. It's for the future. You know what I'm saying? We're going to rebuild properly. We're going to get some good guys in the draft, get some good guys in free agency, and we'll take it from there. That's what I got for y'all today. Like the video, share, subscribe if you're new. Comment down below. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out.